so Neil, to bring you point back to entrepreneurship, because you mentioned, right? You mentioned some big players. You mentioned Amazon and Oracle, and of course Microsoft, IBM, right? So they're providing the infrastructure, all right? And speaking with tech entrepreneurs here, I hear more and more that they are looking for opportunities, those the adventurous one, right? To build platforms on top of that infrastructure that big guys made available for them, right? So where do you see growth there? Because we cannot stop inventing, we cannot stop creating, and kudos to all the entrepreneurs out there who is doing it.
It's funny because, you know, it's like, you know, like, it's like economics 101 in business. So you start off with a great idea, and then if we put it in tech terms, you know, you've got a service provider that delivers tech services, and they charge for that, whether it's implementing technology or supporting technology or providing what I call the sticky services around the edges, you know, whether it's delivery, whether it's maintenance agreements with software licensing, whatever it may be. You know, but we've evolved. So service providers are typically the tech interface normally for large corporations. Then we move up the stack where we've got independent software vendors, right? So where they have, okay, I've got a really great idea. I've created an application. Where am I going to put it? And how am I going to deliver it? So you create a platform. So whether it's, for example, Microsoft CRM, Office 365, and Azure Stack, that kind of stuff. Then you've got your platform with your deliverable application, whatever it is. Ultimately, you want to be a SaaS provider, right? So everyone wants to work up their chain, the value chain, because that's the most profitable and it's the easiest to pull off with the, you know, with the less outlay from the start. So, but it takes ages to get that way. And, you know, some of the big clients, the clients out there now that are taking services from these tech titans are, you know, it's knee-jerk, you know, it's a knee-jerk response. It's a Me Too herd mentality of, because it's a great idea, I should be doing it too. But actually, every business is so individual and their needs are individual. They don't stop and think and realize that what's good for someone else is not necessarily good for them, unless it's some kind of something native like security, for example, or a base platform or an inherited infrastructure. Say, yeah, we're going to go to containerization now because it makes sense, rather than we don't really need our virtualization in state anymore, and we're going to do this. And I get that, but there's a lot of people just knee-jerking, and the public providers are going to lap it all up. But, and there's a big but, you know, it got to a point, people did not cater for a pandemic outbreak like this at all, from a technical provisioning point of view. Everyone boasted they could. Everyone said, oh, we need to do that. But they couldn't. And, you know, I will mention one company, Microsoft. You know, Microsoft ran out of space to re-permission virtual machines in Europe, right? In one of their nodes, and they had no capacity. They were at capacity. So they had to fail over to have tech provisioned in, say, North America or somewhere else, which caused a massive problem, certainly if in Europe, because you've got issues with data protection, there's passport of data, rulings and compliance you've got to adhere to. But, you know, people are still doing it. So we've got a real mess to mop all this up in the next 6 months, if and when things get settled down technology from a technological point of view. Because, you know, in any pandemic, in any crisis, people do whatever they want and whatever they can to survive. And that's normally not always adhering to rules. And so I think there's a lot of rules been broken, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming out in the wash